There we go. That's better. Helps to turn on your microphone. Hi, everybody. My name is Chris. I am an editor and podcast producer, and I am looking forward to being able to share a little bit of work with you guys today. Now, be honest, I am waiting for some files to arrive, and then I have other files that have taken a little longer to produce today than I had expected. So I am kind of in the middle of things, but I said I'd be coming on, and so I might as well. So this kind of real life of a podcaster, real and true. Let me check here on Dropbox. Let's see if we've got episode 5 stuff yet. Nope, still uploading. Okay, so we will work on something else because there's always something to work on. But let me go ahead and change scenes here. I am in the final stages of this one. Now, this one, this project is a little bit different. Yeah, in fact, actually, I just have to make a graphic with the updated information here, and then I just need to export it. So that will go to compressor, and the work for that will pretty much be done. This one is relatively simple for me to put together. This is more of the mixing and mastering side of what I do, because what I've done with this one is I sent the Zoom files, which is why the quality on this is a little lower. I've sent the Zoom files to a third party to actually edit the conversation, and I'm just putting the puzzle pieces together on this one. So this one's relatively simple. This should be a ProRes file, meaning that there should be very little actual conversion and understanding for it. Everything looks good. It sounds good. I did place a real quick omnichannel, Ships omnichannel on it, just to add some compression and things like that, because I saw some variance in the volume, and the intensity of the speaking. But whenever I listen, it's a little harsher with the guest, but it's a Zoom file, so I can only do so much with that. So, with that being said, I'm happy enough with it. The overall volume is relatively uniform and things like that. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. This one's been hanging in the air. Has been waiting for. This one's been waiting for resources for about a week and a half, because my host had a lot of stuff going on. So last things that I need to do is I need to find a good image for the guest, create my image that you see in the preview window, and then add that in and export the project. So let's go ahead and get on Canva. I'll show that on screen here. In fact, I've got a Canva window open already. Okay, and so we need to go to this project here. Canva is a wonderful, wonderful tool for simple designs. It basically just allows me to create a real quick template and turn it around. It's like, it just takes no time at all. So in this case, I'm going to put in the show information. Ultimate Carnivore Cookbook is the name of this one. This is episode 149. And then the guest is Cody Zolfer. I have a spreadsheet with all the information that I get from my guest, which is awesome. It's or with my hosts. It helps so very much. Let's find a good image for him. Let's get on his Instagram here real quick. This is a great picture. This will work just fine. I'm going to zoom in a bit and screenshot away. If anyone has a resource that they use to capture images off of Instagram for things like this, that might be beneficial. I don't. In this scenario, actually, I got another one here that I could do. I don't know. This one being about a cookbook, I think I'm going to go with the one that has the apron, but I'll show both here in a second. So a couple screenshots here. I don't have any problem pulling from or using a screenshot of their Instagram feed, because generally speaking, their Instagram feed actually gives their Instagram feed usually gives the, oh my gosh, so many tabs. Okay, we'll get, they're putting that out in the world anyway, so it's kind of in the lines of fair use in that regard. Never had anybody like say, hey, use the different one. So that's kind of been my normal practice. Let's see here. I didn't move this, which is why I was having a hard time finding it. Let's move that to the right folder. Okay, let's add my screenshots here. I'll just upload media. That's on my desktop. So I'm going to pull both of these PNGs here. The issue that I have with this is that when I remove the background on this, it's going to be black on black. Let's see how it looks. Not horrible. He has enough light on him in that image that it's... I don't know why it's not letting me flip it again. Just hasn't refreshed probably. Let's see. Because in the preview it's... Yeah, there we go. It just took a second. So that works. He is a little squinty-eyed there. There's no harm in doing both. Let's go ahead and do effects here. Yeah, buddy. Okay, cool. Yeah, Cody's done some amazing work at reclaiming his health, so I absolutely don't mind showing him off a little bit. Let's go ahead and download this. Now, I used to download this as a video file, at least this so that things would like pop in, but I found that wasn't very beneficial for me because I was having to retime them and things like that once I got into the editor. And so in this case, I've moved to just having them be a PNG. Let me go ahead and pull this up here real quick. pull this into the right folder so I have it, because I'll need it later. And then just going to go ahead and put it in here. And then replace and retime to fit. This will make it match the previous image that I had in there, which is from my template. And there we are. Okay, so we have our intro image. We have our video in here. Everything looks pretty darn good. Okay, let's send this to compressor. One of the many reasons I use compressor for this is it actually frees me up to continue to use Final Cut for other things, which is really, really nice. So that's going to go there. If you are using Final Cut and don't have compressor, I highly encourage you to look into that and see if you can't employ that in your process, because sometimes it does allow you to multitask a little bit, which is awesome. Okay. So this one's, again, this one is pretty straightforward. This one isn't really one that I'm doing a lot of final work, because I employed somebody to actually do some of the work for me, which is always helpful when you have a high workload and work a full-time job like I do. So that's that. Let's see. No comments. And it looks like there might be a viewer or two here. Hi there. Go ahead and say something in the comments if you'd like. Welcome to my stream. I'm doing a bit of a quick edit on this particular project, but I've got some other work that I can do over the next hour at this point, because I'm going to do that. So we're going to let that continue to work in compressor, though. I can multitask quite often, but in this particular situation, since I don't have anything pressing and my wife asks me to do something real quick, I'm going to let this run, and I will be right back. So let me switch this over to that view, and I will be right back. Hello, welcome. Looks like we had a couple viewers here, so welcome to the stream. Let's see here. I got unfortunately, Final Cut Pro. Yeah, um, absolutely. Welcome. Um, Cardboard cutout. Me. Is that something I can do in Canva already? Let me pull that tab up here. Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Let me see what other effects or filters I've got here because I haven't. Looks like maybe I can add a shadow. And that shadow could be a drop shadow. And I could make it a white one or a brownish one, maybe. Gray. Okay, yeah. Angle. There we go. Yeah, it's not bad. Kind of pulls it up a little bit. Just the blur there. Let me go with white here real quick. Let's see what white does. That's weird. Oh, I was thinking about it. Okay. Yeah, I think that you're right. In this particular case, it's standing out well enough because his shirt is well lit. Had it been any less well lit, that would have been a problematic thing. But I think point very well taken. Let's see. Let me switch back over to my other view here. Okay. Get rid of Canva here. Luckily, in this particular case, this is a 720p. You know, all the content on this project is pretty low resolution in scope of what I normally get to work with. So it's not such a big deal for me to export it. It doesn't take very long. Let's see here. So what, Kareem? What applications are you editing in on Windows? Hopefully you're still there. I think I still see somebody here. Hey there, Chris. I know you stepped out, but welcome or thanks for tuning in. Come back in if you'd like. Yeah, I'm still waiting for those files. Good news is I've got a Lisa. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Let's get that into the right place here. And then I'll start working on an audio-only podcast that, once again, I have outsourced the audio editing for. Wondershare. Very cool. I have not used that one, but I haven't been on a Windows platform full-time in any recent history. So, yeah, that's not an application I'm super familiar with, and I haven't seen any reviews for it. Sometimes I'll catch commentary about different ones and things like that, and that's not one I'm super familiar with. And you're just doing video with that one, Chris? Lagging. Stream chat is always an issue. That export's almost done here for the MP3. Reaper for audio. Wondershare is pretty lightweight compared to. Yeah, Final Cut is. It's absolutely a professional level application. Definitely gives me the tools and the utilities to be able to do some pretty crazy stuff. I'm doing. I'm doing a lot of multicam editing, so most of my podcasts, like this one, if for this particular podcast, it's rare that they not use Riverside at this point. But the guest in this case, I think, only had a phone to connect with, and so they used Zoom instead because it was probably filmed or recorded before Riverside had released their iOS application. But yeah, I'm doing up to 4K. Video feeds from guests and hosts, and that's allowing for some really high quality content, multicam editing, and all that type of stuff. And it really is a lot of fun to be able to do that and be able to make projects like this one, where this is actually my own podcast. I think I was in a rush on this one, I think. I kind of cheated on this one. I just went multicam. Got my 4x4 or 2x2 box going, and just kept it the same thing all the way through so that we were all active at all times. Normally I would switch around, but due to time constraints and being that, well, this particular project is not a paid one, I had to sacrifice some work to be able to do that. Yeah, Kareem, what are you doing for video editing, if you're doing video editing at all? Okay, very cool. Audio is a great place to start. I started with audio 4 years ago, and as video has become more and more available, I've definitely moved into the video realm because I have that background already. But it is totally respectable to get into the audio world. There's way more audio consumption than video. It's just not talked about very often, I think, and so we undercut that a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and quit out of Final Cut here, and I'm going to get Logic up. And RX here. Did I get that? No, I did not. Okay, episode bin. 127 is what I'm looking for here. Let me make sure. Just grab the files I need, not everything. So much file management with this stuff. As you guys know probably at this point, it's pretty crazy. Okay, so this is all I need. This is the logic file that my editor has provided me with the cut down version of my episodes. So that's going to copy over. Shouldn't take too terribly long to do. Kareem, where are you based? No worries, Kareem. I'm not worried about that one bit. It's just, I'm talking to talk more than anything. Um, so I was asking where you were based, where in the world you were, and I guess the other question is how long have you been editing? Okay. Taking a little longer to download to my external. Um, cool. Compressor is done with audio. I guess I should get into Illustrator real quick and get that done. This podcast is going up today, probably actually overnight. I'll schedule it to go live in the morning, both on the host's YouTube as well as the as Simplecast, which is our host. Facebook feed over here. That's more important. Sorry, just kind of. Oh yeah, no, I don't. um, links friends send me that are annoying. I don't need to watch those. Okay. Anyway, let's see here. thank you guys for tuning in. I know I'm not being super entertaining right now, but I hope that we can have some good conversation, hanging out, and maybe learn a little thing or two from each other. Which is why I want to do this. It also helps me stay focused. That's why I shared this in the podcast editors club, and it really gave me the basically the idea is this helps me have a second thing for my ADD brittle mind to stay in focus on. Why are you trying to back up 2 terabytes of content? Skip. You have no reason to back up 2 terabytes. Not 2 terabytes of data here. So right now I'm just doing a quick edit of our album artwork, podcast artwork. Got a couple Illustrator files that I use and that I provide to my host, who uses them on their social media. Takes a few moments. If you're not already learning a little bit of just the smallest amount of graphic design, like this, and I'll be honest, I didn't design the logo or anything, and actually I didn't design this piece in general. I was provided by the person who that created the logo to begin with. But it allows me the ability to go in and real quickly make an edit and export a PNG or whatever file I'm needing, so that I can provide that. And it's really, really helpful, really easy. But just knowing how to navigate in these apps goes a really long way to having an additional service to offer your hosts, so that they're not having to do it. And oftentimes that goes a long way. I have a newer client that I need to actually work with them on getting with their graphic designer, and yeah, had to toss your phone across the room. Oh, that's no good, Chris. I'm actually, not that you asked, but I'm actually using my phone over my Wi-Fi as my webcam, actually, which is kind of cool. Okay, so I export for web. Next. There's probably a newer way to do this, but I don't know what it is. So I just go with what I know. And as I tell my day job customers, there's no right or wrong. There's about 15 different ways to do anything, so just do it the way that you find works for you. Okay, this is the home, and this is the story picture. So update the episode number. Done. Got the other one. Export for web. One of these days I'm going to memorize the shortcut key for that. The application I'm using for my webcam is called Irian. I saw you can actually see the interface on the computer here. Have a little bit of ability to zoom in. I don't have the ability to move around, which I wish it had, but I can kind of, move in or out on the view as needed. And so it's a pretty cool little application. I'll pull it down to the main view so that you see it a little closer. I can. You don't want to see the rest of the room. It will actually be just a ceiling, basically, with the angle. But yeah, it gives a little bit of ability to kind of adjust and all of that, which is great. North Africa, Algeria. No landline DS 4G. Yeah, that's Yeah, wireless internet in any form is very definitely unstable. I'm not. You'll notice on my menu bar, at least I think you can. I am not using Wi-Fi on my computer at all. I have a USB-C adapter that is my Ethernet gigabit Ethernet connection. So I'm hardwired even to my cable internet service, and that helps with stability quite a lot. Gives me a lot of throughput. Right now, while I stream, this is no joke, while I stream, I'm uploading files to Dropbox, syncing up files, and there's about 8 gigs to go. I'm maxing out my upload bandwidth here at 22 megabit per second, which is pretty cool. Downloading about 5 megabit per second. I think maybe that's Dropbox. I don't yet know. It might be background tasks from Google, because I do have some files that are supposed to be coming in from Google here shortly. Hopefully they will come in soon. Get out of Illustrator now that I have that done. Yeah, Earian was something that was suggested. I had been using a different application. Let me see if I can see which one it was. I've got a lot of apps on this thing. Had been using... I'll think of it in a bit. I'd been using another application, but the reason I ended up switching was the application it topped out at 1080, and of course the rear camera of the iPhone has a capability of doing 4K. So the feed going into OBS right now is a 4K feed from my camera, which is nice. To have that flexibility. Okay, so we have our file here. Let me go ahead and get the rest of these files downloaded just so that I make sure that I have them. Got a couple intros and outros that will need to be done or dealt with. That's good, Kareem, that they're compensating you for that. Now, do you have limited bandwidth of how much you can download and upload, or are you do you have kind of free for all in that regard? Oh, come on. Let's just trigger it. Cool. Interest nice and sweet, nice and short. I'm just triggering the download in QuickTime or in Dropbox to get those files localized to my local hard drive right now, because they are offloaded presently. So this is the logic file I get from my editor. Let me pull it up. I should have it fully. In this particular case, I did go ahead and pre-run everything through RX before sending it to them. That's why I have the files RX after the name of the person on the line. So these should be filtered properly. Now, I'll be honest with you, my RX has been a little aggressive actually lately. So I'm not going to have the ability to really fix it in this situation, but I may end up finding that the I hear some things in the audio that I don't necessarily like to hear, and it might actually be a result of my quick filtering that I was doing. Let's take a listen here for a minute. I'll get back down on my main screen so that that's what you see. Let me pull up OBS and hide the other display here real quick. Video preview. There we go. I'm guessing that there was an there. One of the wonderful things that I like about Logic is that it's a non-destructive editor. Oh, come on. Why am I not able to resize you? There we go. Yep. So there was an extraneous and there, and my editor did a wonderful job removing that. I love being able to play back at fast speed for the editing phase, for reviewing the content. I listen to audiobooks at double or triple speed sometimes, depending on the reader. This one, she's got a very, very thick Glasgow accent, that's for sure. Sounds like it's actually really, really clear. Sounds really great. Perfect. I will probably not end up actually listening to the whole thing of this because my editor does a very good job of cutting this down. So I usually just do a quick spot check. Let's look at the channel strip here real quick, see if there's anything on these. No, those are just cut and dry. Those are exactly what they are. Awesome. I will take it. That's always great. Okay, so I'm going to minimize that for now. Let's go ahead and get these into RX, the intro and the outro. Chris, it's more than anything in this case. Probably just that we were provided stereo files, and I didn't monoize them. With Riverside, it actually captures in stereo by default, and so we just run with that. Yeah, it does actually increase the file size quite a lot. But I've got lots of bandwidth. My editor actually is in the Philippines, but does seem to have a pretty good connection and does what they need to do. The other thing that helps with this sending back and forth is the ability to upload or to get things into the Dropbox, and then it just automatically syncs to the computer like overnight, that type of thing. And that helps me out a lot because it just shows up automatically usually. And yes, in these particular shows, I'll bring up my template here in a minute, Kareem. But the overall project I like to export in audio because these do have stereo music files for intro and outro. It's not used throughout, but it's enough that I like to be able to separate. And whenever I'm editing a podcast that has multiple people in it, like two on one, like two hosts on one guest, or if I have a crew of four, even, I will split the audio a little bit to where each person sits a little bit off center at different variations, and that gives some space so that they're not all on top of each other and the sound. And then if there's crosstalk, it doesn't quite sound as harsh or as hard to deal with. To hear past. You can hear some separation. Our brains handle stereo audio a whole lot easier than they do the other things. Let me go ahead and clear off the beginning and end of both of these. And so this is my normal module chain. Let me actually get down here and reset it. Flow. I would like to think that it's really light duty, but we'll sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Let me see here.
On Hoda.com. That's J-O-H.
Okay, good. I got scared there for a minute that you weren't hearing my system audio.
Thank you for listening. I hope that I've earned your interest and your time. Thank you for listening. I hope that I've earned your interest and your time. Please leave any comments on the website, www.johnhoda.com. That's JOHNHODA.com. Our guest next week is Jeffrey Stein. Jeff has over 30 plus years of experience in private investigations, security consulting, CCTV, and loss prevention. He is the president and owner of ELPS Private Detective Agency, and they provide investigative and security services to attorneys, businesses, the cannabis industry, and private citizens. Jeff has personally conducted over 3,000 internal and external integrity and witness interviews during the course of his career. He is a licensed...
Do a minor tweak here.
During the course of his career. He is a licensed professional investigator in both New Jersey and Pennsylvania. He's also the president of PA Digital. He's also the president of PI, New Jersey and Pennsylvania. He's also the president of PA Digital Surveillance Systems with over 33 years of in-depth CCTV experience. He's received his Bachelor of Arts degree in criminal...
So this host does these intros and outros for me, and I love the man, but the truth is he needs to slow down, take his time just a little bit more, and I've yet to figure out a good way of mitigating his breathing sounds. They're just very distinct. I actually find that I have this too, so I don't it's no judgment. I just I try to deal with it as best I can. He's also using a Yeti, which are super sensitive, but they aren't always the best quality. So that is what it is.
With over 33 years of in-depth CCTV experience. He's received his Bachelor of Arts degree in criminal justice from Westchester University, and also advanced training in interviewing and interrogation techniques. He attended the New Jersey State Police Academy municipal class located in Seagirt, New Jersey. He's also board certified as a criminal defense investigator by the Criminal Defense Investigation Training Council and a board accredited investigator. His expertise, while specializing in criminal defense and homicide investigations, spans all the spectrum investigations, spans all the spectrum of private expertise, while specializing in criminal defense and homicide investigations, spans all the spectrum of private investigation work. In January of 18,
right now I'm mainly looking at tempo for this. This will actually be over music, so it is one of those things that I'm intentionally trying to make sure that it's
private investigation work. In January of 18, He's inducted as a member of the Vidoc Society, and in February of that year, he also was licensed by the Texas Department of Public Safety as a continuing education instructor for both private investigations and security.
Okay, so it's pretty clean already. I'm still going to run it through, and definitely I increased my sensitivity for breath noise. There's a lot of that. So let's see what we have afterwards. Okay, almost done. Let's check the status of that export. Video's almost done here. Let's see how well I can multitask here. Do hate that. It always pops to the front. Okay, that's the end of the signal chain. Let's listen back. I can already tell.
And a board Defense Investigation Training Council, and a board-accredited investigator. His expertise while specializing in criminal defense.
So what I'm going to do actually in this particular case is I'm going to use spectral denoise to get rid of those. And so let's go ahead and apply that to the whole thing. I'm going to call that noisy because it's kind of lateral, actually. So I will reduce that. Perfect. So while the breath is still there, like this one,
Seagirt, New Jersey.
Start earlier.
Police Academy, municipal class located in Seagirt, New Jersey. He's also board certified as a criminal defense investigator by the Criminal Defense Investigation Training Council, and a board accredited investigator.
Yeah, it decreased it quite a lot. It didn't actually reduce it all the way, but it just reduced it mostly. I'm actually going to run it one more time, see if I can't get it a little more clean. I love RX because you can do these things over and over and over again, and it just doesn't do any harm.
Located in Seagirt, New Jersey. He's also board certified as a criminal defense investigator by the Criminal Defense Investigation Training Council, and a board accredited investigator.
Yeah, so I finally removed it completely that second time. I do not see any major breaths that are visual at this point. Yep, let me check those at the very tail end here.
By the Texas Department of Public Safety, Continuing Education. Member of the Vidoc Society, and in February of that year, he also was licensed by the Texas Department of Public Safety, Continuing Education instructor.
So it did garble, the processing did garble some stuff.
Homicide investigations spans all the spectrum of private investigation work. In January of 18, he's inducted as a member of the Vidoc Society, and in February of that year, he also was licensed by the Texas Department of Public Safety, Continuing Education.
Just gonna move it. It still makes sense with or without it.
Department of Public Safety, continuing. He also was licensed by the Texas Department of Public Safety, continuing education instructor for both private investigations and security.
Cool. So I'm going to call it good. Now, I don't save over the original. I wouldn't be able to anyway because it's an MP4. So I'm going to save the audio file here. I'm going to create a prep folder just because I like to separate them. Okay, outro done. Let's go to the intro.
Welcome to podcast number 127 of My Favorite Detective Stories. Today's date is May 11th, 2021, and I'm your host, John A. Hoda. Our guest today is Lisa Gray. Lisa is an Amazon #1, also Washington Post and Wall Street Journal best-selling author. She previously worked as a Scottish football writer. Today is Lisa Gray. Lisa is an Amazon #1, also Washington Post and Wall Street Journal best-selling author. She previously worked as the chief Scottish football writer at the Press Association and book columnist at the Daily Record Saturday magazine. Her debut novel, Thin Air, was a Washington Post and Wall Street Journal bestseller and was Amazon's third best-selling Kindle ebook of 2019. Bad Memory was a Wall Street Journal bestseller and longlisted for the McIlvany Prize. Dark Highway, the third book in the Jessica Shaw series, was published in November of 2020. Lisa now writes full-time.
Okay, so hearing a few things in there, but my module change should take care of them. Let's go ahead and do it. Wait. There we go. Okay. So I actually, on this one, turned down the voice denoise, or the breath thing, and I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. I'm going to get in here, do spectral denoise, learn it, and then apply it to the whole thing. I'm going to go for another 20 minutes or so, and then I need to start getting prepped to go to church for worship band rehearsal. So I will probably actually shift my focus after I get this edited or cleaned up. Okay, let's listen back again.
At the Press Association and book columnist. Welcome to podcast number 127 of My Favorite Detective Stories. Today's date is May 11th, 2021, and I'm your host, John A. Hoda. Our guest today is Lisa Gray. Lisa is an Amazon #1, also Washington Post and Wall Street Journal best-selling author. She previously worked as the chief Scottish football writer at the Press Association and book columnist at the Daily Record Saturday magazine. At the Daily Record Saturday magazine. Her debut novel, Thin Air, was a Washington Post and Wall Street Journal bestseller and was Amazon's Street Journal bestseller and was Amazon's third best-selling Kindle ebook of 2019.
Bad Memory was a Wall Street Journal bestseller and longlisted for the McIlvany Prize. Dark Highway, the third book in the Jessica Shaw series, was published in November of 2020. Lisa now writes full-time.
I call it good. It's not perfect, but I could probably spend all day working on trying to improve or perform to get on it. And the truth is, nobody's going to be able to know the difference because, again, it's going to be over. Well, this one won't be over music, but it's less than a minute of audio. Nobody's going to really care. Okay, those are saved. Let's get this posted on the other one that I was just finishing because the video is now done. Yay! Okay, let me bring up Safari here. Nope, I don't want Safari to be the default anymore. Okay. Let me switch accounts. Of course, I don't have Fat Fuel Family over here. Okay. Well, then I will just upload that later. Not a big deal. I will upload that overnight. Okay, so let's get the audio ready, though. So finished audio is down here. No problem, Chris. It's really fun to feel like I have somebody here with me in the room, even though technically you're not, but that's okay. So yeah, this is a great thing to be able to see what others have to say, and I'm sure that I have a lot to learn. I have been doing this a little while, but I do not claim to know everything that there is to know about all this stuff, and I try to operate out of a realm or a mentality of I reserve the right to be completely wrong and apologize for it. I'm not sure how well I project that, but that is my desire to do so. Okay, let's get to the downloads folder here. Get my that one already. Okay, different folder. So what I'm doing is I'm just updating the metadata and getting my different elements up so I can upload to Simplecast, which is the podcast host you can see on my small display. Our interface for that. I do ask or really require my host to go ahead and provide me with show notes and usually a title, at least a working title, so that I can create graphics and things like that for them. I've had a couple times where I had to actually edit and update and things like that when I guessed wrong. And so I don't like to guess. Okay. That is uploading to there. Let's get the images in, and then we'll work on show notes. Oh, damn. If you've not used Simplecast, it's a really great website, a really great hosting platform. Gives all the basic options, of course, and all the basic options, and then and then some. Okay, so we have that. I have a template for my show notes that I use in just the Notes app. It's really very, very straightforward. Take out any previous notes from previous episodes that aren't global or universal. And update a couple different things so that they'll link up automatically. Then let me update the title here. Started formatting these a little differently a little while ago, both on YouTube and in my platform here, so that they kind of have a little more metadata in the name. Don't know if it does anything. Wish that there was a book or a resource that was really easy to understand with that type of thing. But marketing and that type of stuff is just kind of a complete mystery to me. Okay, then I just copy and paste. Update spacing as needed. Because I'm doing this to multiple platforms, I have to kind of be particular about which ones I'm moving. Or I have to go ahead and set it up with So one of the cool things about this specific podcast is that the guests are sometimes people that I call my own friends, and Cody is one of them. So this one's all about the incredible transformation that Cody has done in his life, as well as his fight to reclaim his health, and as I'm reading in like the show notes here, that he's doing it for his son. He's doing it because he's trying to make sure that he has that he's around for his son for the long term, and that's really awesome. I bet the kid's awesome, yeah, we met each other at different events, and so it's really cool to get to see him doing awesome things. If you're interested in the carnivore lifestyle, if you're interested in what it's like to in keto or carnivore or any of that type of stuff, the Fat Fuel Family podcast is a great podcast for that. They talk about that and a whole lot of other things, all very much in the vein of like alternative living of sorts, which is great. Okay, yeah, I'll be right on time with all of this. So this is going to go up tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. So let's go ahead and put that in for tomorrow at, actually I'm going to go 5 a.m. Cool. And then I'm going to get on Squarespace. I have a little bit of time and set up the basic blog. They've added me as an editor on their website, which gives me the ability to set up the blog page for it, which is great. One of my podcasts that I edit for, which that's the other one that I need to finish today. That's I'll be staying up tonight to do that because I'm late to a degree on that. Is that you can get access to their thing, and that way you're not having to wait for somebody else to create a blog post or that type of thing. I'm on the wrong page. On the blog. I need to be on the podcast. There we go. Perfect. Duplicate. And now, because I've set this up, it's pretty much copy and paste from here. Embed the audio in here. I'll embed the video once I get it uploaded. And then all I need is the basic bio and links for the guest. Replace that. There we go. Get rid of extra spaces. For some reason these didn't link, so I'm going to go ahead and just manually set them to be a link. Also doesn't help or doesn't hurt to set them to open a new window so that you don't pull away from this page. The rest of this has basically stayed the same for forever. I do need to change the URL 149 and upload the video or the image. What's the other? Find a window. There we are. Once again, for the excerpt, I will go to my notes. Oh, yeah. That reads a whole lot better. Off. Nope. Sure, that's fine. Whatever. Okay, cool. Grammarly's great. It's it helps to tweak this stuff pretty well. Of course, because these are provided to me, I don't really worry too much about them. If there's grammatical or spelling errors, if I catch them, I fix them, of course. Okay, so we are going to schedule this to go live tomorrow at 5 a.m. to coincide with the podcast. Save that. Okay, so that's scheduled. And that looks really good. Okay, I feel a little bit ahead of the game on that. Let me, about 10 more minutes that I scheduled kind of to do all this. Let me get Final Cut back up and see if I can't start digging into the changes that I got from my client here. I don't do a lot of podcasts that get reviewed, and so I do have one or two that do. And this is one of them. Okay. really good, detailed, time-stamped, all that stuff. So what I'll do is I will copy this all into the Notes application. Do I have? I do not. We will do that. Okay. Kareem, it's totally fine. That's exactly what this is designed for. It's designed to be come and go, do what you want to, all that type of stuff. No, you're totally fine. I'm not worried about that at all. I really appreciate you coming on and interacting a little bit and all of that. So that's really what I was going for.